What if I told you the biggest debt of your life could also be one of the biggest wealth-building tools you'll ever own? Most people see a mortgage as a financial burden. The wealthy often see it as something completely different, and that difference can be worth hundreds of thousands of pounds. If you're serious about building wealth instead of just earning income, subscribe and join us on the journey. 30 years. That's a lifetime. Every month, the payment leaves your account. $200, $2,500, maybe even $2,000. And it feels like you're trapped in one of the biggest debts you'll ever have. Most people see a mortgage as a burden, a giant loan hanging over their heads, something they have to survive. But what if that's the wrong way to think about it? What if your 30-year mortgage isn't just a loan? What if it's actually a profit engine? That sounds strange at first, because when people hear the word mortgage, they think of interest payments, debt stress, and decades of obligations. But here's the interesting part. The wealthiest homeowners often see the exact same mortgage completely differently. Let's imagine two people, Sarah and James. Both buy similar homes worth $300,000. Sarah focuses on one thing. The mortgage is costing me money. Every payment feels painful. Every interest charge feels like a loss. James sees something different. He asks, what asset am I controlling? And that's where everything changes. Because a mortgage allows you to control a large asset with a relatively small amount of your own money. Imagine putting down $30,000 on a $300,000 home. You don't own the whole property, but you control it. Now suppose property prices rise by 20% over the next several years. The house is now worth $360,000. That's a $60,000 increase. Notice something important. The property didn't rise by 20% of your deposit, it rose by 20% of the entire property's value. You invested $30,000, but the growth happened on $300,000. That's the hidden power most people miss. The mortgage gave you access to an asset much larger than your initial investment. It's similar to planting a tiny seed and benefiting from the growth of the entire tree. Of course, homes don't always go up quickly, and property markets move in cycles. But over long periods, many homeowners build wealth. Not because they make brilliant financial decisions every month, but because they consistently own an appreciating asset. And there's another profit engine working quietly in the background: your monthly payments. Most people think money leaves my account, therefore I'm poorer. But part of many mortgage payments gradually turns into equity. Think of equity as ownership. Every payment slowly increases the percentage of the house that belongs to you. It's like filling a bucket one cup at a time. At first, the bucket barely looks different, but year after year, it fills up. Eventually, you own a larger and larger piece of the property. Now compare that with renting. Rent isn't bad. In many situations, renting can actually be the smarter choice. But after making a rent payment, your ownership position stays exactly the same. With a mortgage, part of the payment is slowly moving money from one pocket to another, from cash into ownership. And this is where psychology becomes important. Humans are terrible at appreciating slow progress. We love immediate rewards. That's why people get excited when a stock jumps 10% in a week. But they ignore a mortgage quietly building equity for years. The problem is that wealth rarely feels exciting while it's being built. It feels boring, repetitive, predictable, the same payment every month for years. Yet that boring process is exactly how many people become financially secure. The real secret isn't the house. It's the forced consistency. A mortgage creates a system where you're regularly putting money toward an asset, whether you're motivated or not, whether the headlines are positive or negative, whether you feel like saving or not. The system keeps working, and that's often more powerful than relying on willpower alone. Because wealth isn't usually built through perfect timing. It's built through consistent ownership of valuable assets over long periods. So is a 30-year mortgage a loan? Technically, yes. But that's only half the story. The other half is that it can function as a profit engine, an engine powered by property appreciation, an engine powered by growing equity, and an engine powered by consistency. The mistake many people make is focusing only on the debt. The smarter question is, what asset is this debt helping me own? Because debt by itself isn't good or bad. What matters is what sits on the other side of it. And sometimes that asset can quietly create wealth for decades. That's why a 30-year mortgage isn't just a bill. It's not just a loan. For many homeowners, it's one of the most powerful wealth-building tools they'll ever use. And the people who understand that difference don't just see a monthly payment. They see an engine that's working for their future every single day.